Hello, good morning. My name is Martin Wild, and as you can maybe hear, I'm from Germany, but I try to make it work for you. So I'm very delighted to be here today and speak to you about innovation and digital transformation in retail. And maybe before I start, let me ask one question. Anyone here in this room knows our brands MediaMarkt or Saturn? Okay, so those of you who don't know us, we are based in Germany, spread all across Europe, but no UK and no France. We are comparable to maybe Carphone Warehouse and Currys here, but we think we are a little cooler, apparently. And we are bigger. We are Europe's #1 for consumer electronics retail, with 1,053 stores in 15 countries, 22 billion of turnover, out of that 11% online, 65,000 employees, and 6 million customer contacts per day. But I want to tell you about our history, because we have once been disruptor in a market that was very analog, right? We just opened up big stores with wide assortment, very cheap prices, and the concept was running really, really well. So it was spread all across Europe, and my colleagues that were founding this business, they were feeling really, really great, because they just opened up a new store, a new country, and people were pouring in. So you can imagine that this is not the best situation for a change. And that is the reason why our company has for a long time been respected as the dinosaur of consumer electronics, because in 2011, we did not have an online shop. Think about that. Selling consumer electronics devices that allow digitalization, no online shop. So this is the reason why we said, let's change. So what happened? You all know there's a new consumer. He's connected, all the information in his pocket, and therefore all the prices and assortment is with him, and our old USPs have vanished overnight. So what were the first reactions in our headquarters in Ingolstadt? Well, some people said, well, this will go away. The internet is just a trend, right? Did not work. And others believed, well, maybe online will be 30%, but there's still 70% offline, so let's focus on this. Apparently, this did not happen, but this is the reason why from 2000 to 2011 we were focusing on offline instead of accepting what is happening. What we do now, we are fully what I would call multi-omni, no-line channel. We are on all channels, all the way from online, mobile, social media. We have own content platforms, we invest in service, and apparently our stores. And in the last years, we won a lot of awards. So just recently, in Germany, we won the prize for the best for the best multi-channel retailer of Germany. 10 years ago, everybody would have said this is never possible. So this is a story. We started late, but we were able to catch up. Now, some of my colleagues might say, okay, that's it. Let's focus back on regular business because we are safe again, right? And I tell them, no, this is not true. This is just the beginning, because digitalization is just about to pick up really speed and change retail in the next 10 years more than the last 100 years. That's my strong belief. So we are just at the beginning. We see ourselves as the partner, day-to-day companion and navigators for consumers in a more and more digital world, because everything will be connected, and many people have problems to connect an iPhone to a Sonos speaker, which should be easier. But we're going into a world where your misconfiguration of your toaster could make your fridge not work anymore. And we want to help consumers in this way. And to achieve this, I think we as retailers, but all companies across all verticals, need to be able and willing to transform everything to stay relevant for the consumer. That's the reason, sorry, one click too fast, why we want to transform and innovate in 4 big pillars. First and most important, customer experience. How can we give consumers a better customer experience across all channels? And I will give you a lot of examples in a bit. Second layer, business operations. Digitalization helps us to become more efficient and have more time for the consumers. Third topic, new business. Digitalization constantly opens up new chances for new companies that are able to disrupt us again, and also gives us chances to grow. And apparently, we need to change the culture of our big corporations to be able to adapt faster, because only the ones that are able to adapt will survive in the future. And we are looking right now at a few technology trends that will probably change consumers in the future again. The first and oldest one is apparently mobile. And as you know, we all have more calculating power in our pockets today than NASA had for landing on the moon, if they did it in 1969. But this is enabler of everything that the consumer knows today. At the same time, in 5 years from now, mobile could not be here anymore, right? Because there's a new technology coming in. IoT, everything will be connected, from the smart home to the smart store to the smart city. This gives us a complete new set of data and insights, will help us to build new personalized experience. Voice assistants are entering our homes and will open up a complete new gatekeeper that will change the way we market completely. Let me allow one question. Who is owning an Amazon Alexa from this audience? And who is owning a Google Home? Okay, pretty Amazon-based here in the UK. So this will change, and we are also working on this technology to see how we can use it. Apparently, artificial intelligence and robotic will change almost everything in all areas. I will also give you a few examples. And the blockchain is about to revolutionize retail again, starting from supply chain all the way to cryptocurrency. And I'm personally a very big fan of VR and AR, because virtual reality is able to disrupt everything as we know of today, starting from transportation to payment. And augmented reality is about to change the way we interact with our day-to-day life. Who owns a virtual reality device at home? Okay, that's very low. I encourage you to try out this technology. It's very early. It's like Internet 1995, right? But think about who was there and who wasn't. So it's not that expensive. Prices will come down. Try it out and experience this new technology. But above all, I believe retail will change into much more personalization. I call it hyper-personalization, because with all this data at hand, we are able to build new consumer experiences that give consumers something that they have not even dreamed about today. So I want to give you a few examples. I strongly believe in innovation. Well, my role is Chief Innovation Officer, but I made my hobby to my job, because I think digital only is not enough, because also digital companies will leave the market if they are not able to innovate. Think about BlackBerry, digital from the beginning, but somehow not able to be fast enough. But sometimes internal corporate culture does not allow us to innovate. Especially in Germany, we always try to make it perfect. We do not accept failure. And that's the reason why we are too late while others already conquer the world. And that's the reason why we adapted a try early, fail fast technology, acceptance. So we try early with new pilots, work with consumers, see how it works, and then decide how to proceed. And now I want to give you a few examples of topics we are right now working on to give you an insights of how we see the future could evolve. So one big topic we see, we need to digitalize the point of sale, because as you all know, this is still very, very analog. And by connecting the dots, that means connecting the position of the article, which most retailers, the product, which most retailers don't know today, and the consumers, we have the same insights like online and can build real personalized experience. How we do this? A few examples. All of our stores across Europe now have electronic shelf labels. They do not only allow us to change the prices instantly and save a lot of time, because in the past people had to print the price, cut it, and glue it. This is now done automatically. At the same time, they help us to locate the product, because they know where they are and they know which product is located. All of them have NFC enabled, so a consumer can just tap his mobile device to the electronic shelf label and get a link to the mobile website of the product. You don't need to scan anything. At the same time, we are looking at robots that roam around at night through the store and take pictures, so visual recognition of the store to give us insights of the planogram of the store and the article position. Now this is the basis for the product location. Now we need to look at the consumer location. So we said, why don't we transfer online behavior to offline behavior? Now think about the last time you were looking for the product online. You put it into your search bar, and milliseconds later you have a result. Now think about the last time you went to a big offline store, maybe a DIY store, looking for a product. Well, first you need to find an employee who is not hiding from you, right? And then it takes you at least 5 minutes to get to the product. This can be done better. So we said, let's use mobile. And we built an in-store navigation application where consumers can enter the product they were looking for. And what we did in Amsterdam, here in Eindhoven, together with Philips, we used the LEDs that are in the ceiling, and the LEDs send out signals. They act like GPS satellites. And they help us to locate a mobile device in a store on a 30 centimeter level. So this is very, very accurate and help us to bring the consumer to the product. At the same time, we know his location and can help him to get a better experience. Apparently, it also helps us to see the customer's movement in the store and get their reaction on new products. At the same time, we have to look how can we interact with the consumer. So this is an example of a startup we've been working with that is using personalized out-of-home communication. So in this case, they take a picture of you, they recognize, are you male, female, what is your age, and if you're 40 years male, maybe you get a shaver as a recommendation, and if you're female and 35, maybe you get a Dyson for your hair, right? Another thing we worked on to say help the consumer to find the product is Paul. And Paul is the first fully autonomous indoor navigation robot in Europe. And Paul was launched 1 year ago in Ingolstadt. Ingolstadt is in Germany, our headquarters, and now is live in Zurich, Berlin, and Hamburg. And what Paul can do, I have in a video. He's talking German, but there's English language underneath it. Sound,
Hallo,
please.
Paul ist mein Name. Willst du ein Produkt suchen?
Ja,
Welches Produkt suchst du?
ich suche eine Drohne.
Du hast nach Drohne gesucht. Habe ich das richtig verstanden?
Ja,
Darf ich dich in die Abteilung Spiele und Konsolen bringen?
ja, gerne. Vielen Dank, Paul. Mal ehrlich, was kannst du denn?
Ich kann Boxen, Surfen und Tennis spielen. Nee, war ein Witz. Ich bin hier, um dir zu helfen. Ich kann dir sagen, ob wir bestimmte Produkte haben oder nicht. Ich kann dich zu deinem gewünschten Produkt begleiten und ich kann dir zeigen, wie viel ein Produkt kostet. Nicht schlecht, was?
Wo wohnst du?
Ich bin da flexibel, ich suche mir abends immer den größten Kühlschrank, den ich finden kann und stelle mich rein.
Und was wünschst du dir so zu Weihnachten, Paul?
Ich wünsche mir einen Satz extra Akkus.
Vielen Dank für deine Hilfe, Paul.
Viel Spaß noch, Servus.
So Paul was developed by a startup, and we decided to put him into our stores. And we have consumers that come only to talk to Paul. Well, we are selling consumer electronics, right? So it's a little easier. And no, he will not replace the humans, but he will help the humans because they can focus on a good talk to the consumer, and he can help the consumers to find the product. So that's another pilot we are working on. At the same time, we look at a few other robots. One of them you might have heard of, Pepper, but he's not able to drive around on his own. And we just got a new one, Cruiser, directly from China, which will also, this also works here, which we also try to put him into consumer reaction and see how consumers react. So we got very positive feedback, and Paul has been roaming around more than 1,000 kilometers talking to more than 100,000 consumers in Germany. He only speaks German, as you hear now. But we said, what's next? So we said, let's take a look into the future and build a virtual avatar. So we invented Paula, and Paula is Paul's sister, right? And Paula is only living in augmented reality. Apparently this is not true yet because we do not have the glasses, but we wanted to show our consumers a peek in the future and get their insights, what they think about it. So we built an experience based on Microsoft HoloLens and built a Saturn Holo Tour, which we took across Germany to 20 Saturn stores and showed the consumers how the future of shopping could look like. So as you can see, the consumer comes to a store, he gets a Microsoft HoloLens on his head, and he starts to roam around, and then suddenly Paula appears in his field of view. Nobody else can see her. And Paula is taking him through the store, guiding him through products that are interesting for him, and then explain the product. This is for me the perfect example of connecting on and offline, because I can touch the product, feel it, and at the same time get the relevant information on the product like you're used to online, and in the end have a perfect shopping experience. Over 90% of the few thousand people we showed this said this was good or very good, and over 70% said we want to have a personal shopping assistant in the future. So this is early, but there will be devices not far away that will change the way we act in our lives. One of them could be Magic Leap. I don't know if you heard about this company. They're from Florida, one of the best kept secrets until last year. The founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, went to the location, and after 15 minutes he decided to invest $1 billion into this company, and they talk about building the operating system for the day-to-day life. Really cool technology. Virtual reality, I just mentioned, very big game changer potentially, and we said, yeah, let's try it out. And we just launched the first fully blown virtual reality shopping experience. So having an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive, you can log on to Virtual Saturn, and we decided to not just copy an existing store, because I think this is total crap. Why should I copy the offline world into the online world, right? We said, let's build an apartment, and consumers can experience products in an apartment where they probably also will use it later on. As you can see, he's now in an apartment putting on different coffee machines and comparing them. And then we said, well, let's build something more, and we made it possible that this consumer is able to call an employee into this virtual Saturn. So he's sitting in Berlin or London, you can use it from everywhere, and having a colleague from Saturn with him together in this virtual setting, and they discuss together. Now again, this is like online shopping 1995, 1996. This is not huge sales, but we want to be part of that, and we want to see how consumers react, because this will have an influence on retail, just a matter of time. And just last week, we decided to launch something more online, and with a startup from London, from MishiPay, I think they will be here tomorrow, we decided to launch the first cashierless consumer electronics store in Europe. And as you can see, it's a very small store. It was opened up in Innsbruck, Austria. It's 140 square meters, and it has no cash register. It's not even possible. You have to use a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, you can enter, but you cannot pay. It's a very easy process. Consumers come in, download the app, they scan the article. Every product have RFID tags. As soon as they pay, the RFID tag is deactivated or paid, and he can leave the store. That's it. Very, very easy. Fully focused on better consumer experiences. We just opened last week on Thursday, but consumers like it. Well, there's some of them who don't have a smartphone, but guess what? We have enough, so we sell some of them to them if they need one. If you happen to come to Innsbruck, take a look. We're really proud. This project was started in October, and after 3.5 months, we went live and immediately opened up to customers, because we want their feedback, and we don't want to close shops like many others maybe do. Very cool example with a startup, MishiPay. And to sum up, we believe innovation is the future, and innovation we can do together. That's the reason why we said, let's build an open innovation platform. We call it Retail Tech Hub, and we joined with Plug and Play, which is the biggest accelerator in the world from Silicon Valley, and launched Retail Tech Hub in Munich. We want to be the European innovation platform redefining retail in the future. We want to discover cool startups, work with them. We want to pilot, find out if it's working, and learn, both of us. And as of today, Retail Tech Hub is based in Munich. Startups can also join the Silicon Valley program. As I mentioned, we just had MishiPay from London there. We have another company from London joining the next batch. And if you're a retailer or a startup, please feel free to contact. We are very open. We want to be together and innovate together. It's much more efficient and better than doing it on our own. So after launch, last summer, we already achieved to have Schwarz Group, who are the owners of Lidl and Kaufland. It's the 4th biggest retailer in the world, so much bigger than we. They joined us, and Aachener Grundvermögen is a big real estate company in Germany. They own more or less in a high street Germany. And the batch 2 startups will be those companies. We will communicate them today. I guess you have heard of Zigzag Global. They are based here in UK. If not, take a look. All of them are really, really interesting, and we will work with all of them to build really cool pilots. And one startup from the first batch is actually here. It's Parcel Lab. They have a booth at the startup corner, and the founder is right here. So my recommendation, a really cool startup that help you to optimize the communication after sending a parcel until the consumer gets the parcel. So I hope I could give you a little inspiration of how we see the future of retail evolving. We don't know how the future will look like, but we are open to work as a pioneer and join forces with others, and we are open to share and make mistakes, which we also will talk about. So if you're a retailer, I encourage you to start to use digitalization and use it as a chance and start to try new stuff. And if you're a startup, talk to the retailers or to us, and let's innovate retail together. I wish you very fruitful 2 days at this conference. It was an honor to be here and speak today, and thanks very much.